Look, it's Dante. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm not supposed to be here. That's my sign, my signal. The whole time I'm like just going, shit the bed. That's the wind.
Yes, that's right. We're here live at Horror Realm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. No, it is not off.
Would you like it to be?
No, I don't know. You're the one with the picture. Being the life scrotum?
No, it's being a rat scrotum.
Rat scrotum. Well, it's pretty cool.
Well, actually, turn around. You can see the guy who's that's based off of. Turn the camera. There we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rat scrotum.
So we have, a bunch of people here. Laurie Cardell, Brian O'Halloran.
Brian O'Halloran, who you will see eventually.
From Clerks fame as Dante. There's the beautiful Laurie Cardell back there saying hi to some fans, and we have some Night of the Living Dead folks. We have Mike Christopher over there, kind of a little type thing over there.
Well,
I'm taping this as well. This is
live. It's not live video.
This is live.
You don't know.
And in color. It's true. That's true. So
this is one of those talkies. Nice.
So they're gonna see your face, Drew.
Ew. Cameras off.
It's weird doing the show where I actually can see you.
Yeah. It's disappointing.
I like it less.
That makes everyone. All right.
It's not as good. So
we also have a couple big names here.
JC's mom is here.
Yeah.
Give her out free videos.
Drew's vagina is here. Actually, that's where we're recording from. You can hear the echo. But we also have Mr. Sid Haig with us.
He was here actually.
Very cool guy. We got the corner. What's going on, corner? We're recording a live. We're not recording anything. This is a live radio show.
We have a guest with us here. Young man. What's your name, young man? Andy Baker.
His name's the corner.
AKA the corner?
Yeah. So, don't call him Junior Bieber. He hates it. But the ladies love it.
Well, what'd you come out here for this week there, buddy?
Talking to the microphone, boy.
Hi.
Don't just say hi. Say what you came out here for. Your mom made you?
Well, we have a wonderful mother. You'll really appreciate that. You're welcome. Such great festivities that we have here.
Did your mom dress you as well with the corner costume?
That was just the old costume that I did for right
It was. What'd you do it for?
That, well, it was good, but then I just found it.
You just found it, just laying around the bedroom? It was under your mom's bed or something?
JC, this is getting inappropriate.
yeah.
Your butt's getting inappropriate, whatever. No, I'm just like, was it in the attic or basement or something like that? Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was in the attic then. I don't know. But no, I hope you have a good time. Go check out some of the movies, man.
I have a question. Where'd you get that?
It's Dell's website, Alienware's website.
Do they still sell the original aliens?
Yeah. I mean, they're all obviously, they have different models. There's an 11-inch, I believe there's a 15, 17, and 18-inch, depending on, you can customize it and everything. Yeah.
This is not sponsored by Alienware, so thanks for that.
Maybe we can.
Yeah, we get a little, plugage. That's cool.
They're owned by Dell, right? They have money.
Yeah.
So, all you people with Dell, so give me money.
Yes. By all means.
By all means. So, JC, you got to see a couple of panels today. What did you learn from the panels that you got to see today that maybe you didn't know before?
I got to learn that Sid Haig and an underage Pam Grier had a love scene, and it got a little awkward. I got to know that there are a few things that John Waters asked Mick Stoll to do that she flat out refused. The biggest one lighting her hair on fire. So, as you do.
I understand that. I can understand that.
We also talked to, actually moderated the panel last night for Tiffany Shepard.
I heard you guys did the hokey
We did do the hokey pokey.
And we turned ourselves around.
And that was,
Is that what it's all about?
That is what it's all about.
Did you put your right ball in? JC lands.
Yeah.
she did stand on a chair and stay next to me. Her breast was right in my line of sight. And someone actually asked me why I wasn't
He
staring.
was like, high five. Yeah.
Why I wasn't staring at them. And my only answer could be, how many more times can you see Tiffany Shepard's breast?
Not enough. Never.
Not enough. But in any case, the panel was crazy. Ken Foray came in. We lost all control, and it was a good time. And then the Doug Bradley panel was pretty fun.
Yeah.
He was a really cool
Surprisingly,
guy.
out there. Just, I expected him to be a little bit reserved, but
Oh my God!
He was
The
all
first
kinds
guest
out
that we
there.
have, Mr. Tim Gross. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
talking to the microphone, Tim.
I am fucking awesome.
Yes.
See, that's what we're talking about. And I see Joe Ripple down there in the purple and black.
We don't want anything to do with it.
But yes, I actually closed up early so I could come out and hang out with you guys on this awesome podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You're not being a jag about it. You just come on out and hang out.
The only thing that would make us better if we got some Iron Cities and jumbo sandwiches.
Jumbo, chip
Yeah, get some Manny's,
You're gonna have to
cap
pull up a chair, man. Get comfortable.
Give me a second. Let me find a
Mr.
chair.
Ripple, pull up a chair. There's got to be
seriously.
chairs around.
Just use that crib. It's right behind you.
I think there's a dog in it.
Yeah, there's a dog, so, people first. That's what you need, anyway. It's kind of creepy that this lady has a dog in a stroller.
There we go. So we're all here. We're all one big happy family here from Dusk Radio. So we'll start with Joe. How are you enjoying Horror Realm so far?
It's a fantastic show. I can't say much about the city, but
As long as you can admit that it's better than Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, what is it? I mean,
that's never going to happen, Drew. No,
What's the GDP of Baltimore?
it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference.
but they're highest in only getting their GEDs. That's true.
Hey, but at least we're educated, so it's okay. No, it's a good show, good family vibe going on here. Really cool event. A lot of really, really cool people hanging out and enjoying the show. It's been a good time.
Yeah, I mean, the guests are great. Sid was great. Doug.
Tiffany's great.
Tiffany's great. So, Tim, you're here. Tell us a little bit about your book, man.
I wrote a book called The Big Ass Book of Gross Movie Reviews. It's a book that compiles reviews over about a 5-year span. In that time, I had 5 books and decided to put them in one book. It's about 1,500 reviews, 660 pages. And the best thing to know about it is I have all 6 Leprechaun films.
Nice.
The 8 Hellraiser films. No, I didn't review the Fat Pinhead one because that doesn't exist. Also, I have all the Children of the Corn films in the movie. Yes, the only one it's missing is the one with Billy Drago, Children of the Corn Genesis, and yes, I bought it on Blu-ray just because. Also, I tackle like the Puppet Master films, including Puppet Master Axis of Evil, which was awesome because it's Puppet Master 1.5.
Nice.
And I even wrote a 10-page article that is in the book and talks about the timeline that makes absolutely no frickin' sense throughout any of the movies, including the tombstone that shows up in part 2 that doesn't match up with Toulon's death in the first film.
But in 3, he's a Nazi. It's fine.
No, what's great about 3 is it takes place during a time where it's possible that Toulon is actually already dead in America.
Yeah.
He already killed himself at the Bodega Bay Inn. And the Nazis were looking for the puppets, and if you really want to get weird about it, apparently the kid has already stolen Toulon's secret to try to keep it from the Chinese and the Nazis in Puppet Master 1.5 Axis of Evil. But that's just part 3 we're talking about, because I believe the kid disappeared and he sold the kid to the Nazis for a chipped ham sandwich.
Ooh.
And who wouldn't? Chipped ham sandwiches.
Yeah,
delicious. Children, you can always make
Did it
more.
have Isleys on it?
But I also tackle issues like, what the hell happened to Jeff Burr after he did part 4 and part 5? I mean, honestly, up until he was announced doing Wasteland recently, I thought the guy was dead.
I just have to break in one moment. Lori Cardell from Day of the Dead just blew me a kiss. So take that, Joe Ripple. Take that.
And Mike has to change his pants.
While she was blowing you a kiss, Tiffany Shepard actually kissed me. Take that, Mike Exler. Take that.
Okay.
Just because you feel sorry for you.
And I'm not going to hate on you for making out with the 8-foot drag queen that's been walking around here.
You leave Marsha alone.
Listen, she's a nice
That's actually
lady.
JC's mom.
No, that's my dad. Come on. No, that's Marsha Mello, one of like the most renowned drag queens in pretty much the world. Yeah.
If she's so renowned, well, I've never heard of her.
Well, I don't think you run in that circle.
Okay.
I mean, she hangs out with a lot of straight people.
I
So.
think you're absolutely lying, JC, but that's okay.
No, straight up, now tell me.
So, as far as convention goes, Tim, what has been the highlight so far for you?
Of Horror Realm?
Yes.
Besides being on the radio show.
Oh, well, besides that, of course, yes. Well, of course, Tiffany Shepis hugging me, not once, not twice, but 3 times, but also hugging the Tim Gross lookalike that's wandering around the convention right now, if you have not seen him.
Well, how much did you pay for both?
Nothing, actually. But also, too, besides that, Doug Bradley actually saying it was a pleasure to meet me. Which was weird.
Yes.
He's a good liar.
Yes, he is. But a big highlight though was to actually show my short film Undead Holocaust, which is a 7-minute short film. There was maybe 6 empty seats in the screening, which
Awesome.
it just impressed the crap out of me that people actually wanted to see the short film. Because once these 100 copies go, that's it. That's the end of the short film. It's not going to see the light of day.
Oh, really?
I'm moving on to a next project called Jagoff Massacre. And once I'm done co-directing that with Dan Boyd, I'm moving on hopefully next year either to a untitled zombie project, which might actually be Undead Holocaust as a featured presentation, like it goes feature length, or I'm going to just go crazy and make a horror film, zombie film called Crazy Fucking Zombies, just because.
I dig it.
I'm definitely down with that. If you ever need extras.
Oh yeah, for the zombies films, we will need extras. Jagoff Massacre, for the most part, it's all taken care of.
So, Mr. Ripple, I believe you were a filmmaker in a former life. Ever going to go back to that, or no?
At this point, probably not. Working a day job, having a 15-month-old baby, and trying to run the charity, just not conducive for independent filmmaking. And plus, I'm old, so
At least you can admit that.
right. And it just hurts getting out of bed every morning, no matter what. So, no, I think I'm done. I don't want to say completely, but probably on hiatus. If something happens where I can relieve myself of my day job, then perhaps we'll go back to it. We'll revisit it then. But having too much fun running the charity, so just want to keep going with it.
Very cool, very cool. It's there's a lot of good independent filmmakers. They had Tim Gross, one of them. They also
No, wait a minute. I wouldn't call myself a filmmaker. That'd just be insulting independent filmmakers. Let's just say I wanted to live one more dream, make a short film, just to say, hey, I made a short film. I would never insult independent filmmakers. Like people that are here this weekend, like Mike and Amy Watt, Steve Rudinsky. I would never insult people like that because those are the people that actually make independent films. I was just doing something because I wanted to do it. It's always been a dream of mine to direct a movie. I got to do it. If anything that came out of it, I learned where the record button was.
Well, Tim, let me ask you this then. It's like, what, 12-minute short?
7-minute short.
7 minutes?
Just said that 2 seconds ago. You don't listen to anything you say.
Let me reiterate something for the audience. Douche. So, and you're doing, 100 TV copy and that's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you made the movie, you're selling it. That makes you a fucking filmmaker.
Nah.
Video maker.
Well,
Digital?
call it what you want, but I am just, since I've been age of 3, horror films have been a dream of mine. Whether it's writing them, whether it's making them, reviewing them, acting in them. Every time I do something like this, it's just another dream I'm living. And if you want to consider me a filmmaker, fine. But I would never say that just for the mere reason I don't want to insult anybody. I do that enough when I review independent filmmakers' movies to begin with. And if anybody does actually know who I am, I don't back down. I don't do it over the internet like some people claim they do on blog sites.
Shut your fucking mouth.
And yes, I was doing podcasts before they were called podcasts, just for some people out
They
there.
were called terrorist threats.
But when it comes down to it, I actually face a lot of the filmmakers. I love going face to face with them. I love talking to filmmakers, even if I think their movie is horrible. The one thing I look for, if you're passionate about your independent film, the one you made might suck ass. You never know, the next one might be the one film that actually gets you a deal with Paramount or somebody of that nature.
And if I can just interject here with something to piggyback on what Tim is saying. As an independent filmmaker, you know what the weak parts are of your movie. And if somebody calls you out on it, and then you try to defend it by making up some kind of BS excuse, it makes you look bad. And it makes the entire genre look bad. If somebody like Tim calls you out and says, look, this part sucked because X, Y, and Z, and you say, well, you know what? Yeah, you're right, it did suck, but this is what happened. At least, maybe you're providing a little bit of an excuse, but you're not trying to defend something that does not exist. So, and I think a lot of independent filmmakers need to realize that fact, that people that are truly reviewing your movie are reviewing it for what it is, not for what you personally believe it is. And, you know, doing different things with film festivals and stuff like that, you can tell the difference in the quality between independent films that are coming out nowadays. So, you know, kudos to Tim for calling it like he sees it, because if you're an independent filmmaker and you take yourself seriously, you'd agree with it. You'd agree with what the weak parts are.
Yeah, I mean, there's one here that we just have to talk about. That's David Madison with Mr. Hush. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen.
I'll be honest, I have not had the pleasure of checking out Mr. Hush. I've heard good things about Mr. Hush, but I've not sat down to watch it. I do not have a copy in my possession to see it, but I mean, there is so many movies out there. Sometimes you are going to miss stuff like that. You can't. I mean, yeah, my goal in life is to review every horror film ever made. But honestly, am I ever going to reach that goal? I don't know. But I'm going to die trying to do it, though.
Well, the reason I bring him up not only because he's at Horror Realm, but on all the Facebook pages, ours from Dusk Till Con. I mean, he's taken a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Because of the cover. You know, the distribution, and then he's had people stand up for the film. I actually went to Redbox and I saw the film before I made any statements about it on any of the sites. I told him we're going to interview him and Brian O'Halloran tomorrow, and I told him I respect anybody that gets off the couch and actually makes a film. I respect that. Did I have issues with Mr. Hush? I did. You know, I didn't think it was a perfect film, but it's the guy's first time. You know what I mean? It's a $200,000 film, and he did what he had to, you know, what he could do. So, again, I just appreciate what it is, but some of the things I had with people naysaying the film was they didn't even see it. You know, they were just going off of
judging the book by the cover.
Book by the cover, not even seeing it. So, I mean, from two guys that made a film, that's just got to piss you guys off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, again, it all falls on, if I make a film and you want to review it and you say it sucks, tell me why it sucks.
Right.
You know, I've had people say, oh, your film sucks. Okay, well, why? Tell me why. I don't know, it just does. I'm sorry, that doesn't fly with me. Okay? And it's actually happened. People have actually said that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but what a lot of people don't understand is that it is so damn hard to make an independent film. You know, and it's one of the most difficult things, because you're trying to deal with people. You're trying to get people to do something that you see in your head. You're trying to get the lighting to match what you see in your head. You're trying to get the sound to match what you hear in your head. And that is the most difficult thing in the world. And sometimes, yeah, you don't get everything your way that you want it, and you have to make do with what you got. So if you're going to review something, give it an honest review. Say what you like, say what you don't like, and again, back to my original statement, filmmakers know what their weakest part of their film is. Yeah. Don't sugarcoat it.
I was going to say, only one thing I'm going to disagree with the gentleman here about independent filmmaking. It's easy these days to make independent film, but to make a good independent film is a different story. Everything he talked about is what I agree with, but to make it, it's very easy to make an independent film now. These days, more than ever, because you got the flip phones, you got the iPhones, you got everything. Anybody could be a filmmaker.
Right.
But the thing is, to be a legitimate filmmaker, somebody that knows what they're doing, that's when you get into the aspects of lighting, sound, who you want to use, how you want to use them, how the script is written. That's why I sit here and tell you guys. That's why I do not consider myself a filmmaker. I don't want to insult the people that actually spend a lot of time trying to put these things together and make a good film.
Yeah.
For me, it was a dream. It was fun, and I've been explaining that all weekend long. When horror movies, horror podcasts, writing, when it's no longer fun for me, I will take down the Facebook page, I will take down the website, you will not see me at conventions. That's when it's no longer fun for me. I'm not in it for the money, or I would have packed up years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the love of doing it, period.
Yes.
And, as far as making independent movies and, going up to what Joe said, just telling somebody, oh, your movie sucks, and not giving an explanation, don't pull punches.
Just being an asshole.
Yeah, don't pull punches. Tell them why it sucks. Because, as a filmmaker that's putting something out there, you have to have a thick skin. You should also learn from what people are telling you.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And that goes towards your next project.
I agree with that, because I have, like I said, I like meeting independent filmmakers face to face. I have no problem telling them whether their movie is bad or good, and I will tell them, as this gentleman Joe here is saying, come up with reasons why it's bad.
Yeah.
And I explain it to him, and I said, you want to prove me wrong? Make another feature. I said part of the problem with independent filmmaking and why it has gotten a bad rap in recent years is, especially in the early 2000s, there was way too many people who considered themselves independent filmmakers. They'd make one movie, go to a convention, they would sell their 50 copies, and they would disappear completely.
Yeah.
For what reasons? We don't have enough time to get into reasons, but I mean, there was way too many independent or people who consider themselves independent filmmakers that would disappear from the genre or the convention circuit itself just for that reason. They made a movie, they made $50, at whatever convention, and they disappeared. Impress me. Make a second feature. Make a third feature. Isn't the point of making movies eventually not only to have fun, but at some point, don't you want to get along somewhere? Don't you want to work with people other than your friends? Don't you want to get somewhere where maybe there is a chance you work with like a Don Coscarelli, a Sam Raimi, people that ilk that have worked on Hollywood films? Isn't that supposed to be the final goal? If not, maybe filmmaking isn't the one thing you should be doing. I thought the genre, or I shouldn't say genre, but just independent filmmaking, or what we consider independent filmmaking, got watered down for a few years. And I think, along with the bad conventions that got weeded out, I think a lot of independent filmmakers that you would consider, not legit filmmakers got weeded out in the process, because at some point, your movies have to progress into something. They can't always be, let me throw it out there, low-budget pictures. You want me to throw somebody under the bus? Sure. Do I like some of Chris Seaver's stuff? Yes. But I'm sorry, Teen Ape, 10 years after, and he's still doing the same fucking thing? Do I want to see Teen Ape a decade later? No, I don't. I want to see you actually progress into some other horror film, drama film, anything. I want to see better quality, not the same film. At least guys like John McBride, the Polonia brothers, they're great examples of they were trying to progress. They might not have the budget that Chris Seaver had, but they were trying to progress over the years. They tried different things. They tried science fiction. They tried horror. They tried thrillers. They're just the tip of the iceberg of guys that are trying to make films for no budget. But the thing is, the reason I bring up John McBride, he has gotten somewhere. He might not be on the conventions, but the guy writes TV pilots every year. He has a regular job doing what he loves, writing TV pilots, and the people that have been in his movies. I mean, the best thing is, go check out, Wood Chipper Massacre. The Camp Motion Pictures DVD release talks about the little kid that's in the movie. He has actually gotten 2 Emmys for writing on a soap opera. I mean, eventually they progressed. It's just something they love doing. They want to do it. At some point, you've got to progress, or, you're always going to be stuck in the same thing.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. The whole point of doing an independent, isn't just for the accolades or to make a quick buck. It's to start a career.
Yes.
It's to progress into doing, oh, well, I'm sorry I'm making, good money making a Hollywood mainstream movie. F that. That's the whole point of doing it, is to be able to make the best movie that you can make.
Yes, exactly.
And having a nice budget and, professional actors, a score, those things count.
And again, that's why I don't consider myself a filmmaker, just for the mere reason I'm in it for the fun. I mean, if people like the movie, more power to them. Like, again, I found the record button, and you see, people have seen what happened for 7 minutes, and there was some filmmakers in that same room that watched the movie and couldn't believe that I did that. I said, you and me both. If you are fun, if you want to have fun, and you're passionate about your films, whether other people think it's horrible or not, that fun, that passion, just wanting that, just that something in you, it wants to make a movie. At some point, whether it's the second film or the fifth film, it's going to come out if you're going to keep making movies and keep trying to progress yourself to a point where somebody's going to offer you the budget to do a movie. Yeah. Somebody's going to offer you a distribution deal. Just an example, the one dude that's in there, I'm sorry I forget his name, but that's here today. He's helped representing a film called Drive-In Horror Show. I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of seeing it.
Yep.
I love the movie. The quality of it is awesome. And those guys get it. They understand it. And I'm like, are you going to stop at this? No. They got like 3 other projects they have in the works in some kind of stage. They are going, it's just that passion for filmmaking itself. For the love of God, everybody wants to just talk horror. You got to remember, Spielberg made a horror movie.
Mm-hmm, true.
It just, at some point, you got to start somewhere. And like I said, I love horror movies. It's something I enjoy doing. But like I said, I'm passionate talking about independent films also.
With all the movies you reviewed, do you have one that sticks out as the worst absolute piece of shit you've ever watched in your life?
Honestly?
Yeah.
August Underground.
Okay. The
August Underground.
Mordom,
yeah. I honest to God, I went to, and the reason this comes up, I said in order to review this movie, you'd actually have to consider it a movie. Yeah. I don't consider it a movie. I thought it was a big piece of shit, but the sad part was, Fred Vogel went on, made a film called The Redson Tower. I went to the premiere of Redson Tower, and I went up to Fred Vogel, and I said, dude, honest to God, it's like Mordom fucking sucked ass. But I said with the Redson Tower, it was like you found a film from 1982 where Dario Argento and Fulci decided to get together without no one knowing it and made a film called The Redson Tower. I was like, you impressed me. I said the most impressive thing was you didn't pigeonhole yourself. You went from making horrible snuff films, basically, to making just honest to God, legitimate, awesome kind of Italian horror film that was made for $35,000. It was beautiful, whether you liked it or hated it. Just the scene alone that they're in a garage where they built, it looks like the basement of a castle, and the lighting is flashlights hanging from a fucking roof. That is their lighting that they came up with, and it looks awesome. It looks professional, and they did it. And Vogel said to me, he goes, you know what, I can respect that. You didn't like Mordom. It's only for a certain crowd. I totally understand that. He's like, but I want to make different things, and that's what impressed me as him as a filmmaker, that he's not willing to just settle on one type of film. He goes out, whether it's that Cella Terza, or whether it's the Murder Collections Volume 1, or whether it's Redson Tower, or even August Underground Mordom, Penance. He has progressed. He's made different films. He's tried to push boundaries different ways. And that I can respect in Fred Vogel, and Fred Vogel respects me for just telling him. So, that's what I loved about it.
Well, I think, even in what we do, the interviews that we do, if you're not willing to listen to criticism, you're never going to get any better. You're never going to, do what you need to do. Joe running the charity, doing things like that. If you don't listen to criticism, it's never going to progress. And I think, the horror fans, whether it be, if I like this podcast, I like this convention, whatever have you, no one wants to listen to criticism to make themselves better.
I agree to a certain point, and I disagree to a certain point. And I think if it's criticism that's based out of either jealousy or anger or rage or something like that, then that criticism is not valid. If it's constructive criticism, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But, you know, there's been a shift with a lot of different things out there nowadays where I've seen some really good films and people will look at it now. Maybe it's my personal opinion or not. I mean, Tim and I may disagree on a film that we watch. I may see something and I like it. Tim may see something and think, again, like it's the biggest pile of shit he's ever seen. But it all boils down into what is the larger portion of that. If the larger portion of it is saying, you know, hey, your film's a piece of crap, then you need to take a step back and reanalyze. If the larger portion is saying, hey, this is a good film, you know, keep it up. But, you know, there's a lot of negativity in the world nowadays. You know, and there's a lot of things that are being said and then being done that really honestly don't need to be, because you have this wonderful thing called Facebook and this wonderful thing called the internet. And credit to Tim that he actually goes up and he speaks to filmmakers face to face. Whereas you're not sitting behind a keyboard with what I like to call internet muscles, okay, and just completely ripping something apart, and without, you know, putting the DVD in and perhaps saying, okay, I've watched this for 3 minutes, I'm bored, I'm fast forwarding it to the end, and then writing a review. I mean, to me, that's not a fair review, and that's not what it's about. But I, you know, credit those people that do listen, you know, to the constructive criticism, because those are people that are going to take that advice and what Tim said, they're going to expound upon it, they're going to learn from it, and they're going to become better filmmakers or better in whatever they're looking to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that if it's not constructive criticism, it shouldn't even be done. You know, there's a lot of negativity and people just taking shots of whatever, but, you know, if it's constructive and someone that's actually sat down and watched the film, like I did with Mr. Hush, or, you know, we've watched, you know, Cannibal Killer Clowns on Dope. Have you ever seen that one, Tim?
No, I have not, but it sounds awesome by the title.
And I think a lot of the problem talking about Mr. Hush is the fact that they're, you know, you look at the box cover issue and all of that, but then they're constantly logging into the different Facebook groups and they're constantly saying how good the film is. And people have said, you know, constructively, yeah, maybe that's not the case or whatever, but I haven't seen it myself, so I'm not going to sit here and judge it. The problem is that people are still coming back in and still saying how great it is.
Right.
So it's causing this rift of, hey, I'm saying it's great. I saw it. I didn't like it. Yeah, but I'm still saying it's great. No, I didn't like it, but I'm still saying it's great. So it becomes this argument on these chat rooms and these Facebook groups over whether or not the film's any good or not.
Right. And I think that there's one person in particular that every time it gets a decent review, they keep saying, this person gets it.
Yeah.
That just, you know, that to me is just like, oh, I guess I'm stupid and I don't get it.
Right.
You know, whether I like it or not. So I think a lot of people are taking exception to that as well. I don't know how you guys feel.
Right.
About
No, I think that the reason people are so angry about it, people keep on the boards, is exactly for that reason. You know, they never take it, they ignore any kind of criticism whatsoever, and just keep pushing it down your throat over and over and over again.
And just real quick, we have Dagger Vision Films here, Brian Coddington and Johnny Daggers. How you doing, guys?
Good, man. Greetings.
Greetings and salutations.
So, yeah, we got a little Spook Show TV reunion going on here with Scares the Care Radio and Dagger Vision Films. So, just real quick, what's the highlight? Obviously, Tablet of Tales played Friday.
Yes.
What else highlights do you have from Horror Realm?
Well, we don't have a table or anything like that, so we're just going as civilians on this one.
Yeah, it's actually refreshing.
Yeah, it is. Just to go ahead and just check out what everyone else has got. But I mean, one of the highlights that we enjoyed at the here was just we saw Bloody Bible Camp last night, which was fucking hilarious. It was hilarious.
No, that's cool. I mean, we were just talking about independent films, and Tim has reviewed, how many did you say? Hundreds?
There's 1,500 just in that one book alone, and there's many others that I have never written or even edited out of that book that I've taken out. So, I mean, there's a lot more, but who's counting at this point?
Now, our question, I think, to you guys as true independent filmmakers, if someone watches a film and has true constructive criticism for not liking it, or think that it could be done better, and wants to have a civil conversation with you, do you guys take that information in and see if you can better yourselves from that?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I know for me personally, I'm always open to constructive criticism, and it's actually funny. I was talking to Benzie at Benzie Studios outside yesterday. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, there are certain things about Tablet that I like, and there's certain things I don't like. And for me, it's refreshing because I don't want a bunch of yes men. That's not what helps me out. I mean, there are people I know who do that, and that's great. If someone goes in and says, hey, you know what, this part worked, but maybe next time when you do a film, maybe you do this part better. It all helps. It all helps out.
Well, for the most part. I mean, luckily you're taking it constructively. A lot of times you get these people that are just, oh, hey, guess what's going on?
This is live.
Live on the air? Oh my God!
And
And Tim Gross is here. This is like the worst podcast. Oh jeez. Oh, and this guy that scares the care. Oh,
yeah, we suck.
what a nightmare! What a nightmare doing good deeds for people.
And we've rounded off the nightmare with Tiffany Shepis.
Yo, what's up? Yo, you like that? I got like that was bad. That was really bad. So anyway, take two.
And Yo MTV Raps in the 90s.
Yo, what's up? This is Tiffany Shepis and shit. Yo, Mr. White, yo, you bitch. No one watches Breaking Bad? Nobody?
Listen, straight up, B.
Word.
Like
Wait,
a gangster.
Wait, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I was throwing gang signs. Gang signs.
totally did.
Oh, am I on the thing too?
You're on the
Can
thing
they
with
see
the
me?
thing.
Wow, cotton candy. Yeah,
This isn't
fun.
live, by the way.
This show is sponsored by Cotton Candy.
Why isn't it live? That's stupid.
No, the radio is, not the video.
Oh, the radio's live.
The radio's live.
Oh, it's live. Wow, this is really fun. I gotta go.
We were just going to do the hokey pokey from
Yeah, we
Do it.
Well, I
maybe
mean,
later.
just sing it.
Doug Bradley didn't do the hokey
I'm not a
pokey.
fucking dancing monkey, dude.
Well, what kind of dancing animal are you? Why the fuck didn't we get that on film? Take two. Come on. All right, so back to the lecture at hand. Just, if you take it constructively, that's awesome. But
You have no choice but to take it. When you're in the arts, you expose yourself automatically
Well,
to criticism.
the
So it's
thing
going to
is-
happen regardless.
It's going to happen no matter what, but if you don't take it constructively, if you're just like, well, you're tearing my shit down, man, fuck you didn't get it, you have to take it, for what it is. People are telling you it sucks for this reason, and they're being constructive about it, that's amazing. But if you have somebody that's just saying, well, it sucks, not giving you any feedback, and you're not taking anything from it,
You're always going to discover people like that. There are some people who will always say, well, it sucks, and they'll not give you a reason.
Yeah.
The people who actually go ahead and give you reasons, those are the people you listen to.
Exactly.
I don't listen to people who says, well, you know what? I didn't like it. It wasn't the kind of movie I liked. And I'm like, fine. I always tell people
specifically for you.
I always tell people specifically, and Johnny and I are both in agreement on this. We make our movies for us. It's the movie that I want to see, or that Johnny wants to see. We don't make it for the audience. If I get an audience of people who like my film, that's great. That's fantastic. That's the dream. But I'm not making a movie for them. I'm making it for me.
Yeah. And that's what's important, though. Whenever you get the feedback that you're taking it, and just not writing it off and saying, well, you don't get me, I'm artistic and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of something. We had an individual who submitted a film to the Horrifying Weekend Film Festival. Okay, as I watched the film from opening shot to end credit, you could see the boom mic come up into the frame. Right. Okay. So he contacted me and he said, "Why wasn't my film selected?" And I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, was your film supposed to be a comedy? Or was it supposed to be a horror film? Or was it a comedy horror film? And he said, no, it was dead horror. It was balls to the wall. It was horror, and it was the greatest horror movie ever made. And I don't understand why it was picked. And I said, okay, well, if it was so great, why did I see the boom mic come up into the frame? And he said, oh, well, I put that in there as a joke. And I said, well, wait a minute, time out. I just asked you if it was, and the person wouldn't listen to what I was trying to explain as to why the film
No, it was a personal attack against him, and that's the problem that we have. You know, it's what Tim's talked about. It's what the guys here are talking about. You have to be open to that constructive criticism, and if somebody calls you on something that they see, you have to be able to stand up and take it. And I mean, that's the bottom line.
Now, I like that you said that you actually told them what things that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Because I've entered festivals, and I've just got the Dear John letter afterwards that's like, well, he thinks you didn't make it, and then they won't actually ever tell me the reasons why.
Right.
And actually, if I had someone who said, this is the reason, word for word, why it didn't get in, that would help me as a filmmaker to improve for later on, But there's some, you have to admit, there's some festivals out there that are not on like that.
Yeah.
So real quick, tell us about the new project you guys got going on.
The new project we're working on is Mode on Car. And it is our first part live and stop animation film. Very dark, very twisted. So it's still a horror film.
Way Brothers mixed with Nightmare Before Christmas.
Way Brothers were a huge influence on me. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with them, but they're absolutely brilliant. And it's gonna be fun. I'm not at liberty to discuss yet, but we have a very iconoclastic horror figure who's going to be doing the narration for the film. So, and there's a hint there. If anybody has been following the radio show and what we've been up to, you can probably guess who the narration is going to be done by. But we'll disclose that in a later date. So.
Barack Obama.
Excellent.
It's Klinger from MASH.
And we can't wait to see the film. And the Kickstarter went well.
Oh yeah. We reached our goal by over 400 and some percent, I think.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it was very successful.
And again, when I interviewed you guys, a while ago, all the money goes to making film.
Yeah, it goes.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, that's the thing, and that's why we tell people, support indie film. You can go ahead and you can go to a Best Buy and buy a really shitty horror film for $20. But the money that we make through our Kickstarters, through the DVD sales we make, that all goes back into us making films. That's ultimately what we want to do.
Thus far with Mode on Car, I've for the past 3 months paid out of pocket for everything for set design. So I mean,
Tablet was all produced out of pocket for me. I didn't have any outside money. I didn't even have Kickstarter set up for that.
So do you guys think budget really means everything when you're making a film?
It does. Yeah.
It does.
I mean, there's so much that I could have done with Caustic Zombies. I mean, we had a lot that added to production value with the military vehicles and so forth. But I mean, if somebody offered me, it's funny because it's not hypocritical, but because I'm against Hollywood. Right. But what artist and what filmmaker doesn't want to have the resources available to make their film as perfect the way that I wrote it? So even though I don't like what Hollywood's doing, if somebody said, "Hey, Daggers, we'll give you $500,000 to make this film," if it could be the way that I could pull it off and want to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat, as long as my integrity wasn't compromised. So that's the thing. It's like, of course, I don't want to be a starving artist. I want to make money. Brian wants to make money. We want to be able to make more films. So money does mean a lot. I mean, it really comes down to it. How many people are really going to work for free? You have set design, you have costumes. There are things that need to be paid for. You need to have money to have that. So
I personally think that budget matters to a point. Ultimately, if you don't know the fundamentals of filmmaking, you could give someone $1 billion right there, and they're gonna not turn out a great film. I mean, you have to have the fundamentals down first. And then from there, it's just a matter of, how close can you get to something that, passes as a good film. And I think with every, if you get more money, then you can do more. You don't have to go be a one-man band if you've got the budget for it. You can hire a cinematographer. You can hire a sound guy. And you can do, you can do things with favors and things like that. But I mean, ultimately, budget does to a point dictate the quality of the film.
It really does. I mean, the one thing that hurt us with Mode on Car and the Kickstarter fund, even though we exceeded our goal by 400%, is within the first 40 minutes we reached our goal. And people were like, okay, fine, they stopped donating. And what I tried to express to people is that the more we get, the better film we can bring you. Okay, we may have met our goal, however, we can go above and beyond this and make, a phenomenal film with, the support. And I mean, we did a really good job.
We did.
Money's a big thing, though.
It is. And also just supporting our final product. I mean, that's that's the thing too. I mean, we've got a couple venues where, you know, we've had our DVDs out, we've had posters out, you know, and we have the website that has everything up. But I mean, some people just don't want to get it. We always say that we're ass backwards when it comes to
we are
celebrity.
ass backwards. I mean, we're in 3 publications 3 months in a row.
Yeah.
We have all of the accolades from the media, but we don't have the monetary support yet, which maybe will come. It's just ass backwards.
Right.
But I mean, the thing is that people have to understand is that filmmakers, independent. When you buy our movies online, we're the ones that are packaging them, going to the post office, mailing these out to people. I mean, it's we're the ones that are paying for it.
We don't go through like outside companies that we pay a premium to and they do all the work. It's usually us by hand, you know?
Well, see, and that's the true, you know, why we like to support true independent filmmakers, you know, and just to get your voice out there on Speak Show TV. I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Oh,
Thank
you to you. I mean, you were the one who got us into that. I mean, you know, we had done the podcast as mainly a way of, you know, creating our own publicity, but really, you know, you guys helped us, you know, get up to the next level, and it's been fantastic.
It is. I mean, and we got an opportunity. People gave us an opportunity. Now we're in a position to help other people out. You know, we're trying to help Scares the Care out as much as we possibly can, other conventions. So it's just we want to show what the horror community is about, and that's a community helping each other out.
Absolutely.
I really think the one thing that was impressive is the horror community in the Pittsburgh area proved that with Gary Strider and Save the Chapel Foundation. That right there was a classic example of a community coming together for a cause and making a change. And, you know, the one thing I always laugh about is it's probably safe to say we've all been lifelong horror fans since you know, small children, and we're always looked down upon as the rest of society as, oh, they're tattooed freaks and they think it's Halloween all year round and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, you look at the horror society and everybody that's involved. It's a tight-knit community. People are very loyal and dedicated. They help out to wonderful causes like Scares the Care and, you know, Fix the Chapel Foundation. So, you know, there's a lot of good people in this.
No, I completely agree with you there, though, because okay, well, we have that stigma because, oh my God, you have a tattoo and you've got, you know, autographed pictures of horror people and posters up on your wall. Listen, lady, at least I don't have 15 fucking cats and kids with big eye posters everywhere in my damn house. You know.
I'll tell you a story. I'm in a suit and tie, corporate security manager. Go to the post office to mail out some stuff from some stuff that people order from Scares the Care. And the postal clerk says, "What is this Scares the Care about?" And I start to explain, well, it's a charity. We give, you know, raise money using all things spooky, and we give back to sick kids. There's a woman behind me, and she goes, "Oh, that's horrible." And I turned around and I said, "Excuse me?" And she goes, "That's horrible. You're using those blood and guts and knives and chainsaws, and you're putting sick kids in it, blah, 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 blah." So I took a business card out and I handed it to her. And I said, "Here." She took it. She goes, "What's this?" I said, "I want you to keep that." And she goes, "Why?" I said, "Because if you ever need our help, I promise not to judge you the way you've just judged us."
Oh, wow.
And I walked out. I went back in the post office a couple days later, and the postal clerks were cracking up. She said, "That lady didn't know what the hell to do when you walked out." But, I mean, you know, just because we have ink or piercings or, you know, we like the things that go bump in the night, doesn't mean we're any different than anybody else. You know?
And especially that's why we love covering conventions, because you can come here and be with people of the same mindset.
You can come here and be you.
Yeah, be you. And just if you've never been to a horror convention, if you're on the fence about coming, I think all of us can attest that it's just fun to talk about the films that you love and just be able to be with other people that enjoy it so much.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. I agree.
So, you know, we're kind of coming down here to the end of time that we have.
The end of time.
The end of time.
Nice to be with everyone until we die here.
I wanted a little dramatic end to it, but I want to thank everybody. Joe Ripple from Scares the Care, Brian and Johnny from Dagger Vision Films, of course, Drew and maybe Drew, but
I didn't do anything.
Can I just have Drew lean in and give me some really nice Drew voice as we're closing out the show?
Not unusual to have fun.
I didn't say sing. I just said talk.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, baby.
So nice to see you.
Is that a gun in your hand?
You staying at the
Or in your
hotel?
pants?
But again,
We're going to
hope
cut
you-
that out because everybody thinks I'm gay. Anyways. We're definitely got that.
What do you mean, thanks?
But we hope everybody has enjoyed the show. We want to thank everybody checking us out on spookshow.tv, and just we're live from Pittsburgh at Horror Realm. And if you're in the area and you haven't come out to the show, I think we also suggest you come out. Support Scares and Care, support indie horror, and thank you everyone for listening. So for all the cons, creeps, and culture that you can stomach, we're from Dusk Con Radio.